Okay, today I am going to teach you how to make a really simple cuff. This is just a tiny one I made, and I'm not actually going to show you the entire process of making the cuff. I'm just going to show you how to get started, and how to add rows to your cuff, and then I'm going to show you how you can tie it off when you're done. So I'm not going to show you how to make, all 4 of these layers, but you'll get enough so that you can make your own and make it as big as you want to. Anyway, what you need are beads. How many beads you use to go around is your choice. I am using 34 beads to go around. Just keep in mind that it has to be an even number because you're going to be doing this little, zigzaggy looking thing. So you're gonna need an even number. You can do as many colors as you like. You can do whatever patterns you like. You can do vertical stripes. You can do sidewaysy stripes. You can do big chunks of color. Whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna do this. These horizontal stripes, and you're going to need your string. I'm using really thick elastic, but you can use thinner elastic, you can use Stretch Magic. I like this thick elastic with cloth on it, just because it's nice and sturdy. I also have thinner elastic that I can use for bigger cuffs and stuff, but this is fine, just as long as it's thin enough to go through your beads a few times. So anyway, what you do is, to start with, you just make a single. Keep in mind that this is actually going to be 2 of our little rows. So when you're doing it, if you want to do vertical stripes or whatever, you would go every other one. But for this, I can just do all one color, and it'll be fine. And you just string your beads on for your first 2 layers, 2 rows or whatever. I never really know what to call them. I guess layers or rows works. But you don't have to cut your string until after you do this first little, single. I already cut my string, but whatever. You don't have to until you're done with this single. The reason I'm using 34 beads is because my wrist is kind of big, and because I also pull these kind of tight when I make cuffs, so I want it to be big enough to go over someone's hand. But you can do as big cuffs as you like. If you're going to make a giant cuff, I suggest you use more beads to go around, because you're going to want to have it go higher up someone's arm, and a lot of people have meatier arms, so you're going to have to make that bigger to accommodate that. Anyway, to make what's actually going to be your 3rd layer, what you do is you put a bead on, and see where we've made our knot. You just tie that off with a couple knots, but see where we made that knot. We're going to skip this bead and go through the next bead. Okay? And then just pull that so that we've got that. Okay? And then we do the same thing for the next bead. You just skip over that bead and go through the next one. And you just keep going all the way around. Now obviously, when you do this 3rd layer, you're only going to be putting on, half the beads it takes to cover the pink beads. So if you want to do these horizontal stripes like this, you're going to have to make sure to go around twice with each color bead. Otherwise you're going to wind up with something wonky looking. And maybe you like that. Maybe you do want it to be different looking, and that's cool. But right now, I'm just doing a simple stripey one. So I want to do 2 layers of the blue. And you just keep going around. It is very simple. And like I said, you can make these as big as you want. I was going to try to dig out a cuff that I made, like, you know, one of the cuffs that I made for my little brother, because I make most of my candy for him and for my friends, but for the life of me I couldn't find where he keeps his candy, so unfortunately I don't have a giant one to show you, but you can easily look them up. They have all sorts of patterns if you want to make special ones that have like characters on them and stuff. The patterns, I can't really read them. I know that they're supposed to be simple to read, but for some reason my brain just doesn't want to process them. So I stick to just the simpler patterns like this. But if you can read a pattern for a cuff, you can make all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, and we're getting toward the end of this layer here. We've got one more bead to go, and once you go through that last bead, in order to start on your next layer, you take your string and you go through this bead. Okay? And just pull it as tight as you want to. So now, if you can see that, we are on to the next layer. And you just keep going. Like that. Very easy. Like I said, you can find patterns to make complicated stuff. But if you can't read the patterns, it's okay. You can stick to simple stuff and it'll still look awesome. It does not matter what patterns you use to make your candy. What matters is that you have fun doing it, and if you're giving it away, that whoever you give it to likes what you make them. And I'm sure, you know, if you make something for somebody, they're gonna like it, because you made it yourself, you know? Yeah, I lost a bead there, that's why I had to reach over and grab another one. But you just keep going around. Oops. Trying to watch the camera and simultaneously put beads on, it's very awkward. So you just keep stringing your beads on like you did for the last layer. And like I said, I'm not going to show you how to make like an entire cuff. Although you could stop after 4 layers if you wanted to, if you just wanted to like attach something small to it or whatever. But you can also keep going and make just a huge, huge cuff if you want to. It does not matter. You can make whatever your little heart desires. So, we're coming up toward the end of this layer, and I will show you how to tie this off. Okay? This is why you want to use thinner string. I don't know if you can see this very well, but it's kind of getting packed in that little bead hole thing. Anyway, once you've got as many layers as you want, you will want to tie off your string. And to do that, if you can't get back to where you started, you know, and to just use this string to tie it off like you normally would with a regular knot. You just go like that, put your string through so that it does that, and you just pull it tight. Oops. And you can just do that again as many times as you feel is necessary. I would usually do it about 3 times, maybe 4, but this string is pretty thick, so I'll stick with 3. And then when you're done with that, you just snip off the ends. Like that. And like I said, you know, this is super tiny. You would normally make it as big as this at least, but here's the start of a cuff. You can go as long as you want, you know, make it as big as you want, make it as big around as you want. There are no rules here, but that's just how you do the stitching. I hope this was informative. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.